situations, they stopped. So D-Tran, I just want to encourage you, just get those spiritual doors closed. Just heal and seal, because if you do, it's going to be able to protect you. You're going to have protection. Omnius, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about sleep paralysis. Nick Rowe, no, I wasn't drinking alcohol. How to get rid of a bad energy in your room that visits you each night. So again, D-Tran, we're going to close those spiritual doors. So a lot of people don't realize how they've opened a spiritual door, and usually it's very individual. Thanks, Saphira, I've got your dream there. Usually it's very individual, so unless we get you in a session, we can go back. There might be a traumatic situation. So for example, I won't name any names or anything, but like there's an individual, I'll just throw out a scenario. An individual had someone who was a family friend violate them, and then what happened was after that they started to have horrific nightmares, sleep paralysis, and all this. What happened in that situation, there was a spirit to spirit transfer. So when we have an intimate situation with somebody else, always there is a spirit to spirit transfer. So if there is something gnarly on them that they are not aware of and that you may not be aware of, you are interacting with that in a very strong way when you're in an intimate situation. And so most of us don't realize. I'll give an example. This is a real life example. A girl I used to work with, she was a lot younger. She was in the middle of a real life breakthrough. She was actually the story that I talked about with the, what did I title those videos? Something about chair. She was sitting in my chair at work. So if you want to, I can't remember what I titled those videos, but she was a lot younger than me, and she was going through a real breakthrough. And in the middle of her like leveling up and like coming to a place of breakthrough, she met a boy. And this guy just, they hit it off. And I said to her, like, how do you feel about this relationship? And at the beginning, she already felt uneasy because the guy's dad was very aggressive. She even witnessed the boyfriend's dad being aggressive to the son in her presence in the house. And so I said to her, do you think it's a good idea to engage in this relationship? Because if the dad has been aggressive with the son, and then the son has all this pent up frustration about an abusive father-son relationship, how's that going to go with your relationship with him? So long story short, she started messaging me because I left that workplace, and she said that he had a dream, and in the middle of the dream, it was something like he saw like this dark abyss open, and he heard all these voices calling to him and like taunting him and basically like cursing him. And he realized there's something dark and nefarious going on spiritually in the house that he was living in. And because she was at the house that night, she had some horrific nightmares as well while she was at his house. And it was actually not just the aggressive nature of the house, it was the spiritual nature. So when somebody, and I've talked many times about this before, where people have dark spiritual attachments because they've opened up the door. And so this young boy's father being so aggressive and abusive, maybe a pattern that his father and all that, however that's occurred, that hasn't been healed and sealed. And now there are dark entities able to enter into that doorway that he's opened wide, because not only is he experiencing the emotion of aggression, he is acting on the emotion of aggression. So being physical with his son and his other daughter, being physical with the wife. So now that has created a spiritual atmosphere in the house in which dark entities have access, not just to him, but to the family. And so this younger sister was having these, she wasn't well, like she physically wasn't well. That's how her body and her spirit was like just feeling so oppressed. She started to feel very sick. she started to have like migraines. Migraines are also a sign of like spiritual oppression as well. There's an array of symptoms that can occur from these situations, but the young boy and the girl that I worked with when they were dating, because she would sleep over his house, I said, you need to stop sleeping over there. Stop it, okay? He either needs to come out of that situation and cut ties with the dad, because there was a situation, I don't want to go into it, but there was a situation in which she was getting threatened as well. But long story short, the door was open, many doors, spiritual doors were open, and these dark entities were accessing the family in the middle of the night. And she was then picking up on it because she was sleeping there. Alrighty, I'm gonna go back to the comments. Did you live in a rural area? I don't think so. Hello, love the energy. Thank you. I can't say your name. It looks like it's Russian. Dreamt about being on the water looking at neon signs of a city over the hills. 303 Rhino, feel free to DM the full dream, which you have done. Okay, just so I've come across 303 Rhino's comment. All right, so this is 303 Rhino's dream. Was driving down the street, going to a house at the end of the road. A ball passed me from the house I was going to. A group of people were playing basketball, and it was their ball. I didn't stop for the ball. I arrived at the house, and a girl, after a few moments of being ignored, asked me what I wanted. I said I was from a small station looking to interview her, not sure why. She sent me inside, and her house overlooked a lake. On the hills were neon lights from a city. Weird, question mark. Okay, so 303 Rhino. Usually when I do dream interpretation, I'll ask the person, what would you title this dream? So if you were to upload it as like a YouTube clip or like a TikTok reel, and it was like a movie, a mini movie, what would you title the dream? And because we're on a live and it's hard to flick through the comments, I'll just give you a quick understanding of what the backbone of the dream is there. The dream is talking about a sense of belonging and also a sense of home. So I would ask you then, what colors stuck out to you? The neon lights, of course, the neon lights were from a city in the distance. So it's talking about like a journey that you're on, in the soul way, that it's a sense of belonging, a sense of like how do I say it? A sense of like direction, but a sense of belongings playing out in the dream as well. And then I would ask the person, when you had this dream, what was happening at that time? And then they'd give me feedback, and then I'd be like, okay, what colors stood out to you? Was it a vibrant colored dream? Was it black and white, or was it just lacking color? Or did like one color stand out to you? The fact that you're interviewing the girl, that stands out to me as well. I'll come back to that later. I might have to DM you later so I can open that dream up a little bit more. But I've got a couple other dreams here as well, so I'm just going to get back to the comments. Hey Andrew. Oh, and I was a reports for a small news station trying to get an interview. It's sure that it is. You're reporting for a small news station trying to get an interview. Ah, okay. All right, let me DM you back. Red, yellow, and blue. Let me DM, I will think about that a little bit more, because I think there's a little bit more in the dream that isn't coming straight to me right now. So I'll DM you a little bit more. Oh, sorry, I've flicked past that comment. Where are you? Sorry, I've lost the comment here. 303 Rhino says, I always have crazy dreams all the time. Yeah, write them down. I mean, nothing's really that crazy. I'm here, Chris says, I get that. Return of the Mac. I've had the craziest dreams that I still think about from 12 years ago. I think you've written one to me. All right, Return of the Mac. This dream has stuck with me forever. I was basically in a classroom by myself, laying down like I was in a bed. The chalk blackboard looked like outer space, just dark void. Suddenly a man levitated up into the blackboard. He was dressed in a flowing white garment. He looked kind of like a Middle Eastern man, had a beard and a headdress. He looked at me and then turned to the blackboard and put 2 fingers together at the top of the blackboard and started drawing a triangle. As he was drawing it, light was shining through. As he completed the triangle, the light got brighter. He looked back at me after he was done and said, "It's all in the divine." And I'm pretty sure he said it telepathically. It woke me up and I've thought about it ever since. This was 13 years ago. Interesting dream, Return of the Mac. So you're sleeping, you found yourself waking up in the classroom, laying down like you're on a bed. So anything in a school or classroom is talking about a place of learning. And because you're on the bed, it's like a restful place for you, because the place of learning, like you're learning a lesson or you're learning something in that period of time when it was 13 years ago. So you're in a place of learning and you're at rest. And then this man, who seems to be a Middle Eastern man with a headdress on, levitates, turns the blackboard and puts 2 figures together at the top of the blackboard and starts drawing a triangle. As he was drawing